In my continuing search for perfect sound, I came across Synergistic Research. The text on their website was intriguing, so I asked the Dutch distributor to lend me the Synergistic Research Voodoo, plus a selection of their ancillary equipment to further improve sound quality. Let me first explain that although this is a review of a 15K music streaming server, both part 1 and part 2 of this video are also about how lowering noise on the ground planes can drastically improve sound quality. In this video I will introduce the Voodoo. Part 2 will contain the listening experience with the Mola Mola Tambaki DAC and about improvements that can be achieved by using their audiophile versions of a network switch and Ethernet filter, their special grounding setup and their cabling. In my video Ethernet and Audio, I described my quest to clean Ethernet, essentially a clean series of square waves free of DC offset, EMI and RFI interference. A link to the video is in the top right corner on the screen, at the end of this video and in the description. In short, digital signals are, in fact, analog square waves, often due to design flaws, limited budgets and perhaps a lack of knowledge or insight. These square waves show imperfections. That's not a problem as long as the signal remains in the digital domain. But when the signal arrives at the DAC chip, the imperfections influence the clock signal, leading to less accurate digital to analog conversion. Synergistic research follows a philosophy in which not only individual components are designed to deliver a clean digital signal, rather they have a system of 6 groups of devices to optimize the sound quality of digital equipment. Some of these I will test in part 2 of this video. But for now, let me introduce the Voodoo. Being a music server running Roon, it needs to be connected to the internet via a modem or router over an Ethernet cable. Wi-Fi is not supported nor advisable. If you have music stored on your NAS or computer, it can be played over the network when connected via an Ethernet cable or Wi-Fi. A USB drive holding music can also be connected, while an M.2 SSD can be mounted internally for music storage. A digital to analog converter, DAC for short, can be connected via USB only. The DAC then connects to an amplifier that drives a pair of loudspeakers or headphones. Alternatively, a power amp can be used instead of an integrated amp. If the DAC has a volume control, that can be used to set volume. If not, Roon's digital volume control can be used. Roon also provides equalizing, upsampling, headroom management, phase inversion and more. The Voodoo is made of solid metal with a carbon fiber top that has an integrated brass grille. For heat dissipation, both sides have cooling profiles. The cabinet is slightly wider than usual for hi-fi equipment, measuring 460 by 292 by 85 mm, 18.1 by 11.5 by 3.35 inches. At 12 kilos, 27 pounds, it's rather heavy for a music server. On the front there is only one button to set the ultra-low frequency generator, more on that later. On the rear we see the power switch, fuse holder, an IEC main socket. There's also a manual reset button and a ground plane banana socket. Further to the left are the Ethernet socket and 2 USB 3 ports. An HDMI output is for maintenance only, it's not an I2S output. Inside we see 4 shielded toroidal transformers, probably made by Talama but branded Synergistic Research. Near them are 12 electrolytic capacitors. To the right is the board that presumably holds the ultra-low frequency generator. Behind it we see the motherboard, which is an MSI MPG B650i Edge Wi-Fi board. It supports AMD Ryzen processors from the 7000, 8000 and 9000 series. I can't say which processor is installed, as I didn't want to dismantle the liquid CPU cooler. I will later compare the Voodoo speed to that of the Sonic Transporter i7 CDR and the Runculus One. The motherboard usually comes with forced air cooling inside the ventilation duct, visible on the top and left side in this picture. In the Voodoo, the CPU is liquid cooled with the cooler mounted against the right cooling profile. An M.2 SSD can be mounted here for internal music storage. All connections on the rear of the motherboard, except for the Ethernet 2 USB ports and the HDMI, are covered by the back panel. I suspect those outputs are disabled to reduce electronic noise, or at least physically blocked to prevent noisy equipment from being connected. Furthermore, it looks like some modifications have been made to the board, such as the 11 capacitors visible here, which are clearly add-ons. Also note the circuit board mounted on the power connector. The Voodoo comes with Roon Server pre-installed, so you only need to install Roon on your computer or Roon Remote on your iOS or Android device. You do need a Roon subscription, which costs $12.49 per month billed annually, or $14.99 when billed monthly. You can also purchase a lifetime subscription for $829.99, which becomes cheaper than a monthly plan at about 5.5 years. Using your phone, tablet, Mac, Linux or Windows PC, you can now set the storage location of your music. Log into Tidal or Qobuz if you have a subscription and select your DAC. I had planned to borrow a Mola converter since my Grim Audio Mewtwo doesn't have a USB input. Before that arrived, I used the Holo Audio Cyan 2 to explore the talents of the Voodoo. This is how it was set up. The Voodoo was connected via Network Acoustics Eno2 Ethernet cable, no filter used this time, to the Zixel GS1900-10 HP switch. Also connected to the Zixel switch was the Zixel T56 modem router, which was linked to the 1 gigabit Odido fiber internet connection over a Nokia media converter. The small green computer Sonic Transporter i7 CDR was connected to the Zixel switch via a patch cable and used a Samba server holding music. The Holo Audio Cyan 2 was connected to the Voodoo via an AudioQuest Diamond USB cable. Between the Cyan 2 and the Air Acoustics AX520 amplifier, a pair of Grim Audio SQM XLR cables provide the analog connection. The PMC FAC12 signature speakers on Stack Audio OVA 17 isolators were connected via AudioQuest Robinhood Zero loudspeaker cables. The PSI Audio AVAA C214 active bass trap helped to tame the lows. An iPad Pro 2 was used to control Roon on the Voodoo. Roon was used in the purest form, no EQ, no DSP, no volume leveling and no oversampling. The Holo Audio DAC is part of my Setup 1B and clearly belongs to a different class than the Voodoo. Therefore, I initially didn't intend to report on sound quality. But the combination of the Voodoo and the Cyan 2 DAC sounded rather impressive. Not that I would necessarily recommend this combo. The point I want to make is that the digital source has an enormous influence on the sound quality, even with a clearly lower class DAC. More than I expected. Compared to the Magnum Nano Ultra MK 3.5 Farad, the best digital transport I know in its price range and above, the Voodoo offers less stress, better stereo image, ultimate sibilance control, and simply more musicality. When compared to the Grim Audio Mewtwo, you notice less resolution in the mid-range and clearly less texture in the lows, but the CN2 costs 1/10 of the Grim, so don't be mistaken. This is all the result of a very good and clean USB signal coming from the Voodoo and the excellent clocking in the Cyan 2. It also proves that USB can indeed offer great results. I'm very curious to hear the results when I combine the Voodoo with the Mola Mola Tambaki, and how much more sound quality can be achieved using the switch, router and grounding equipment that came with the Voodoo review sample. That will become clear in the second episode of this video, so don't forget to subscribe or follow me on Patreon, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram or TikTok. Patreon and YouTube Premium members get early access and no ads. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it. It really helps. A huge thank you to everyone who supports the channel financially. You keep me independent and that means a lot. Even €1, pound or dollar makes a difference. It's easy to contribute using the QR code on screen or the links in the description. I'm Hans Beekhuizen, thank you for watching, and whatever you do, enjoy the music.